Where are we going?
North.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
Therapeutic benefit in role-playing games.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, baby. Your presence quested in exchange for treasures.
Ripper.
Are we talking one treasure each?
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. Today we'll be playing the game Miracle, featuring a rich collaborative world, Volmuris, of magic, technology, and divinity, in, let's say, a brighter setting than some of our past games. We are joined by the creator himself, Mr. Turnip.
Salutations.
That's him. Who I will allow to plug exactly where to find everything right now.
All right, so you can find Miracle on RPG Drive-Thru as the Miracle Core Book. It's continually being updated and is pay what you want currently.
Alrighty, thank you. Viewers can expect a deeper role-playing experience from this game and possibly no combat whatsoever. But knowing who I'm working with, well, anyway.
Is everybody looking at me?
Well, you know.
They're not looking at me.
Well, for your edification, I present this dictation on the elite university, Colbing. No matter where you go or which language you speak, Colbing University is the premier college of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Though college hasn't been expensive in many, many years, and is now widely affordable without loans or tuition aid, Colbing University has maintained its exclusive pricing and status through sheer amount of professional faculty, well-maintained campus, and timeless respect from its peers. Like a boot camp for the character, whoever goes to Colbing returns not just with a new degree, but as a new, capable person. Founded in 1780 FA by Richard Colbing, the founder of Greyline Tech, the college was his gift to the world. He would never live to see the college's completion, however, as he died 3 months before it was opened to the public. However, his children saw the college's construction through to the end and made sure that the college was named after him. Today, the legendary bald man is immortalized in bronze in the center of the campus. Today, 115 AR, Colbing University comes equipped with one of the world's largest public access libraries, 3 fully equipped gyms, 2 racetracks, a hospital, 5 motor pools, 2 test tracks, 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools, 7 different dorm buildings, one of the world's largest cafeterias, 1 sports stadium, 2 concert halls, counseling services, and a 5-mile-long hiking trail.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
But none of those. The campus itself is structured into 4 primary complexes: housing, classrooms, administration, and engineering. Currently, around 4,000 students attend Colbing each semester, with the number growing each year. Classes have also expanded from general STEM fields to cover other such fields as psychology, creative writing, history, theology, arcana, and music. This was written, of course, by the award-winning journalist Jim Dicon. Players will begin in their respective departments teaching their classes. So let's go around and introduce our PhD candidates and what they're teaching right now. So I'm just going to, from my screen, go around, starting with Tony.
I will be playing Iron. I am a Pangean, which is a giant lizard man. I stand about 8 feet, a little over 8 feet tall, close to about 300 pounds, just massive lizard dude. Right now, I am a PhD, or I am teaching with prosthetics in mind, the application of them, how to implement them, creation of them, and just ways to make prosthetics just more reliable, more durable, just all around better for humanity. Iron, despite being a massive, intimidating-looking lizard man, is actually a very calm, peaceful person, and all of his coworkers, students know him as probably one of the most patient beings alive today. He's not necessarily the brightest and the smartest in his PhD candidacy, but he pretty much endures all challenges and just takes everything patiently until he completes the tasks at hand.
Awesome. Iron is also a drone master.
Yes,
which
I use these smaller drones to be able to handle the smaller, more fine, intricate workings that I can't with my, car-size hands, as well as get into smaller places.
Yeah. So speaking of smaller, where do you hail from?
I hail from, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing this correctly, Byrascus?
Bryascus, yes.
All right, which is a heavily forested area, but everything is bigger there. Just life is bigger, buildings are bigger, the communities that kind of spawn around is just made for... everything's bigger there.
Made for
Texas of a miracle world.
Yeah, made for, bipedal 8-foot giant beings.
Okay, and the deity you worship?
I worship Hannibal, who is the god of will, who also is, a very patient deity, which is why Iron is kind of drawn to him.
Excellent. All right. Dan, we'll turn to you.
So I'm George Chambers, human, stands a little about 6.5 feet tall, 240 pounds, just absolutely cut, like less than 2% body fat, super trim, super fit, clean shaven, short black hair, loves being outside, loves like warm weather, summer, tail end of spring. I'm here at the university for my candidacy in biology, with a subset for sports medicine, usually seen around campus at either one of the gyms or at the boxing ring. So apparently I am a avid pugilist. I'm from Yotan, the human nation that is split between mountains and wasteland, that apparently has quite a bit of a rich history with the old technologies and magics. But I acknowledge that they're there, but they're not related to who I am. I concentrate on my own personal physical routine. I am always working out. Take my job as a biologist at this campus seriously, but I guess one of the first things that I'll point out to everybody is that book smart arts and street smart arts aren't the same thing, and you need both to get along in this world. Even though he doesn't talk about it much, he does follow Savine, the goddess of summer. Loves the hiking trails that the campus has to offer. Gets a chance to run whenever possible. I don't actually have any pets, mostly because I think it kind of goes against like the sense of free will that the kind of implies. But at the same point in time, if I see you like dealing with animals badly or abusing animals, or farmers that don't treat their animals properly, that gets his ire. The other thing that Ed comes out, and I would say that Iron is definitely a guy that George respects just because of how big he is. I mean, I'm tall for a human. This guy is a good 1.5 feet taller than I am. I kind of think he might be a little too reserved. But at the same point in time, anybody else that I deal with, I am always judging, like, are you eating right? How's your body fat ratio? I might not necessarily say it to your face, but I am always scanning you up and down, seeing exactly how much of an active lifestyle that you have. And if you don't have one, it shows in how I react to you and think of you as a student. Because if you're not, I don't take you seriously.
Awesome.
Nice.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right. Let's move on to Nate.
All right. I am, my name is Tomato, or Tom. I am a feral. Ferals being essentially like, almost think of like a werewolf, large, like wolf, dog type creature. Mostly black, with some kind of like grayish white features. Like you can kind of see a little bit of gray in the face, maybe the tips of the ears, tip of the tail, things like that. He's also a teacher. As you can see, I changed my classroom to the former Mr. Bouchard's classroom in our Kids on Bikes episode. But he is a teacher of the arcane arts and arcane magic. He is arcane chemistry, especially. He's descended from arcane scientists. He has an uncle who's also a teacher, professor here at the school by the name of Birch. He unfortunately lost his right arm in an accident. It was an experiment that he was doing that went awry, and it blew off his right arm. He now works very closely with Iron to have a beautiful prosthetic right arm instead. He's I'd say he's relatively laid back until he needs to take charge. He's somebody that, can basically kind of stand back and allow other people to take charge. But if if it calls for it, he's the one that'll step up and make sure things happen. He can be a little bit hot-headed. He's very, very calm until he reaches that breaking point. And once he reaches that breaking point, there's just kind of sees red and just not a very pleasant person at that particular point in time. The deity that he worships is I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it, Bitha, the goddess of chaos. He's kind of drawn to her, he's kind of similar to his personality. Where he can be a little bit chaotic and unpredictable at times. But he's always trying to come up with new ideas, new mixtures, new concoctions with arcane chemistry, arcane magic, and just basically trying to better himself as well as the world.
All right, and where do you hail from?
Oh, right. I hail from the Tellin Free States, which, if I switch over to my PDF here, it's basically a jungle, jungles, mountains, tropical type of a climate. A lot of the lands of the Free States have been heavily terraformed and introducing climates such as snowy mountains and deserts in relatively recent years in terms of, how old the world is.
And it's also where we are. Colbing is located in the Tellin Free States.
Correct.
So, okay, let's move on to Caleb.
Alrighty, so I'm going to be playing as Swift Stratos. I am a genocide, and I'm basically a bird person. I'm covering feathers from head to my knees. Below that is, reptile feet thingies, bird legs, and I have a beak. I'm in the style of a sulfur-crested cockatoo. I have this great big sulfur crest on my head, and when I get excited, it tends to stand up without my permission. My guy, he's a student there. He's a student in industrial engineering. His dream is to become he wants to build rides for theme parks. He wants to do it professionally, and he wants to do it the best. And so he's here at Colbing University to become the very, very best he can.
I am all for that. I'm all for theme parks, rides, and I want to get out of my house and go on a roller coaster.
Yes, he loves them. So Swift, he actually comes from Tannily, which at one point ruled the planet, but as time passed by, they kind of fell from power. His family's kind of all over the place. He has a sister who's a priestess. His mother used to be a surgeon. His father was a manager at a geothermal plant, and so he's kind of bouncing off of those and going off to his own thing. He's actually a worshiper of Aspar, the god of the earth. He really does like these things. He likes the idea of the earth, the imagery, and he considers it be a part of eternity. And he likes how, no matter how much time passes, it will always be there. And he wants to instill those values and those traits into his own life and his own living. And so he's actually quite a bit of an artist. He loves poetry. He loves art, statues, and this way he also likes metal and rides, and because those things will last much longer than he does, than he will. So as an engineer, he's pretty good with tools. He's always constantly building stuff, going from one project to the other. He has a little bit of ADHD because, well, being a bird, he's just a little bit sporadic. And also, as worshiper of Aspar, he carries a satchel of earth around his neck as part of what they do. The Home of the Earth subscribers to that deity. Personally, he is a charming, well-grounded individual, but like I said, he can get off on tangents at times. In public, he's a bit of a social butterfly, pretty charismatic by major standards. And now, coming from Tannily, he carries a value of loyalty. And so he tends to follow people around without even realizing it. He wants to be there for people, be there for his friends, and just like the earth, always be well there and be relied upon. He's also a magician. He has studied electricity, the School of Electricity. And so for this, he has a few tricks up his sleeves, and which is also coming really, quite handy with his engineering work. Being able to, turn something into a magnet at will is quite useful. Or if you ever need a power and electric drill, he just kind of grabs a cord and makes it work. But that's pretty much there is to him. He's a loyal, grounded, interesting dude.
Nate, you're muted.
Nate?
The mute is selected there.
Yeah, that's weird. The button should work. All I was trying to say was, no, that's a cool way of doing it. Like just being able to harness electricity like that, like shoot electricity from your fingertips, or Uncle Fester it with the light bulb.
Unlimited power.
Yeah, I tried to make your schools of magic relevant to your fields of study.
Did a good job.
So I imagine too that Swift would have with the ADHD a little bit, and possibly fortifying metals with engineering experiments and stuff, would have crossed fields with Tom, and also just sort of I also picture you guys were in the same freshman dorms, and Swift was loyal from that, never forgot, and kind of if nothing else, was always talking to the rest of the group here.
So are we all roughly the same age?
Pretty close.
Yeah, I think so.
So okay, cool.
My character's in his 30s.
Yeah, same. 32.
I am 44. I'm a little older.
At 33.
Yeah, I just made the changes basically on lifespans, was why I made the changes.
Oh, that's fair.
And otherwise, you're pretty much in your respective...
The same maturity age.
Yeah.
Pangeans get way old.
I mean, they are lizards.
Yeah.
What's the average lifespan of a Pangean?
Oh, let's see if I can remember off the top of my head. I think it's about 140. But of course, this is in the future where people just tend to live longer normally because they live healthier lives. But Pangeans just live a long time. They're not like dragons.
All right, cool.
Alrighty.
So, quick question about the history of the world, all the different deities, are they part of the same pantheon, or are they competing faiths?
No, they're part of the same pantheon.
Okay.
In this world, these are the true gods. They've been proven to exist, and they kind of interact with the world through their priests. Yeah.
Yes, they each one has both an immortal champion and an adopted spirit, and one is sort of the actual. I envision anyway, like Hercules, like somebody of that stature, like walking around, like literally like throws cars and stuff like effortlessly, while the other one is more of a speaker, who's also immortal, but
Yes.
yeah, but will just sort of make decrees about like their god's expectations and whatnot. So that's kind of why too I wanted to bring them in. I was like, this is cool. Like, let's have them, especially where they are proven to exist here. Like, have them interact in some way. So, okay, and actually, I'll wait for that. So, bells ring, and our Colbing members here are taking their lunch breaks. There is the standard school cafeteria that's typically used by the younger students who live in smaller dormitories and have meal plans. That's earlier what I described as like one of the largest in the world. Older students, however, will eat in the more customizable establishment, Larry's. Even older students will eat in their dormitories where they have kitchens or perhaps order in. Coincidentally, Larry's is adjacent to the administrative offices as well. And there's also a bunch of different cultural group spaces there. Nearly every deity has a home base here at Larry's. Leothra, goddess of birth; Momana, goddess of madness; Iokis, god of courage; Seafall, god of darkness, just to name a few. There's also representation from the different countries for those who are homesick or take pride in their land. This building is really the hub of cultural exchange. So you're all getting in line to order food from your pal, Pink, a feral with alopecia, which means he's completely hairless. He's covered in tattoos and loves to talk smack to students. Hey, Jack, asked for another extension this week, or did Professor Armelin decide 4 was enough? That type of friendly jabs. So he does his inside handshake with Tomato. Yo, tomboy, what can I get you today?
Sorry, I'm finishing the handshake.
Keep going.
I don't know. What do we got on special today?
Oh, you know I can get you whatever you want. We got the chicken, we got beef, we got pork.
Let's go
veggies.
Let's go with some beef with the side of beef.
Beef with side of beef.
Our gravy on top.
Yeah, with some beefy on top.
That's right. You get me. You get me, Pank. You get me.
So yeah, Pink is definitely friendly with all of you, but most friendly with Tomato here.
Is it Pink, P-I-N-K, or P-A-N-K?
P-A-N-K.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Pink. All right. So then he does, ask the rest of you what each of you would like, but he doesn't have his full secret handshakes with the rest of you.
That's right.
My hands are too big.
It's a feral thing.
You wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
That's racist.
So it's Pink just kind of gives you the look. So you all take your food and look to the seating area. So in this area, it has like kind of a cafeteria vibe, but it's also just like a lot more chill, like a lot more disorganized, rather than just like we are structured tables. Like you can actually move stuff around here and could hypothetically clear out all the tables if you wanted to set something else up there, which does happen from time to time for various
Impromptu dance floor.
Impromptu dance floor, absolutely. Especially, yeah, do the dance of the Tellen Free States. So you're waved over by Consway, the head of residential life and a reverend following Leothra, goddess of birth. He's a dark-skinned human in his late 40s, and he's sitting with Glamantha Poxy, an undergraduate senior and treasurer for the group MANA, M-A-N-A, standing for Members, the Academic New Age. They are the most elite group in the school, and they accept new members once a month. So after waving you all over, have you all met Glamantha here? She's a promising student studying psychology, so your departments may not have overlapped. She's both accepting of the author's majesty, but would still like me to see the merit of Momana. Which gods are in your corners?
Actually, a question. What was the question he's asking? Which gods are in my corners?
Yeah, so just, I guess, more specifically, like who you worship, but just sort of, he's just having this lively little debate here where he's an actual reverend for Leothra, and her group worships Momana, and she's like Momana being the goddess of madness, and one of the things that they're all about is accepting others' points of view. So that's kind of like the debate right here, where she accepts she's saying like, she accepts Leothra's majesty, but would still like me to see the merit of Momana. So he's not in that same like open mindset where I have to accept like what all the other gods are telling me. So he's just kind of like asking you to interject in this debate here.
Well, I worship for Spar, there and forever. And of course, madness is cool, madness is fun, but, you gotta have, stuff. Actually, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. And as he's talking, his crest is kind of like rising slowly. You can tell he's getting this a little bit nervous. And, I should have prepared a speech. Well, dirt's cool. See? He presents his satchel and opens it up, and behold, it's full of dirt. The earth is here forever, and madness is fleeting, yes. In fact, with madness, if the whole world was full of madness, you wouldn't have what we have today. There won't be any Tellen Free States, no nothing, no reactors, or no roller coasters. Madness, roller coasters are just controlled madness, but you can't have madness by itself.
You can't have madness without some chaos either.
Oh! So Consway is encouraged initially by this argument for being more grounded, and where, again, the name, God of Earth, Raspar, where Raspar is like God of Earth, grounded, not quite as insane. And so he's initially like, oh, like good, like one of these graduate students is siding with me, but that's when Tomato chimes in that, but can't have
madness without some chaos.
Tomato, what have you to say?
I'm just, there's so many different deities to choose from. It can get a little confusing. So actually, quick question. So like, I'm just kind of quickly reading through like the Goddess of Chaos here, but like, what is it? So they value spontaneity and disorder.
So like you're like an arcane chemist, like you're seeking to constantly like organize chaos. Like you're doing experiments where like, testing like heat and different mixtures which have like chain reactions, and you're trying to document that and organize that. Okay. So you both live in like, you live in the order of the science, but like you're constantly pushing boundaries through, chaotic experiments, hence, why your arm got blown off. You got a little overzealous, but it hasn't slowed you down at all. It's just like, oh, well, I got a prosthetic now. If it blows off my other arm, so be
Can I get
it.
excused for 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, go right ahead.
I'll be right back.
All right, we'll be right here. We'll continue on or wait.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So that was kind of my vision for, why the Goddess of Chaos made the most sense to Tomato.
No, I think that does make sense. So what I'll say to that then, he says, you have something to say. It's just like, like I said, you can't have madness without a little bit of chaos, and the world I think would be a better place with a bit more spontaneity and people not planning out their every move and just taking things as they come.
So you're saying that the like knowledge you acquire comes from chaos rather than repetition.
You'd best believe it.
Well spoken, little friends, but all things can be learned through patience, given enough time. And it is important that we do not fall to the difficulties of life and always persevere is what Hannibal teaches us.
I like the way you think, Iron. So, Romana is a little intimidated, where it's the head of residential life is the one who had started this lively debate, and at that point it was kind of just like, oh well, blah blah blah, like we're talking, and now these graduate students, doctoral candidates are all like rolling in, talking about their beliefs, and you've all accomplished considerably more than Glamantha has. So it's she's getting intimidated, and at that point, that's when none other than Inzane walks by. So Inzane is kind of like a school mascot. He's not literally the school mascot. He doesn't, dress in any sort of costumes or anything. It's just he's been at the school for a long time, and it's just completely tied to his wealth. He's just perpetually like enrolling in new courses, but he like owns his own townhouse that's like just outside the campus, and is constantly donating, new things to the school. So is kind of like the Van Wilder character. So he walks by, and he's just in a bathrobe, and at this point, I mean, it's you're taking your lunch break after like morning classes, and he's very clearly just rolled out of bed and strolling through Larry's, and for what purpose you're not sure yet, but so he's walking by, and he stops, and he looks over, and he sees the group of you, and Glamantha is extremely attractive, which I didn't say up front, but now she's extremely attractive.
Well, hello.
Yeah. So let's make our first roll. So the way that you make checks in this game is you roll d12s, and you add modifiers based on your abilities as well as individual skills. So there's a coinciding chart where you have body, mind, spirit, and social on top, and then strength, agility.
Hold on. Let's make your life a little bit easier here.
Boom.
Cool. Bam.
So this is the character sheet of Tomato, but I believe right here is what Conrad is speaking of.
Yes, it is indeed. So you can see where these will like intersect, and so like body strength is literally like physical strength, your ability to move things around and lift things, and As you would expect, George has good body strength, and Iron naturally has good body strength. Yes. So then, like agility being, your dexterity, and it's both where you can see with all four abilities here. So your agility of body would be, literally like doing cartwheels and speed and all of that. While say like agility of mind is, like quick thinking and being able to make adjustments on the fly. While toughness is, your ability to resist things. So, physically, so body toughness, like resisting poisons, while like mind toughness, like staying awake extra long, perseverance that way. Spirit toughness, that's where, like magic comes into play, and like your ability to resist like curses would be like spirit toughness. And then social toughness is like your ability to resist being embarrassed. So when, people are ganging up on you or something like that, your ability to, or you, like in this cafeteria right now, if you were just to, trip and fall on your lunch tray and your face is cloaked in mashed potatoes or something, your ability to shake that off would fall there. So then beneath that, that's where you had, your skills. So that's more through like practice and learning, where you'll accomplish those things. So for example, where Iron and George are both physically strong, like Iron is this like patient, calm person who's not violent, and George, however, is constantly, working those muscles, and he's in the gym every day. So his melee skill is through practice and honing it. And now, he can punch, straight through wood effortlessly. So that's where those skills come into play. And there are, actually, if you want to share the screen one more time, just a quick snapshot, there are quite a few skills, and this is where you can see the role playing has the opportunity to be extremely strong. So if you look at the categories, there's like the combat is just one of 6 columns here. So you really could avoid combat and overcome things with all of these different skills here.
I apologize for the formatting. I'm not actually using Microsoft Office, so formatting might look a little weird.
It's readable.
Yeah, and if you wanted to scroll, let's scroll all the way down. Just a quick snapshot of the rest. So you have your qualities. That's like where like Power Thinker comes in here.
So yeah, okay, qualities. Yep.
So all of the characters were designed through the middle tier. You can do quick creation, you can do experience creation, and then you can do freeform through the system. And the middle tier is where you have a set amount of experience, and you purchase ability points, skill points. You can purchase qualities, you can purchase trainings. They like all cost different experience, and qualities are just like parts of you. So where here we have like Power Thinker, increasing your base focus by 3. And like the reason I had chosen that again for Tomato, with like his really like thinking outside the box with like constant new chemistry experiments, it's like, that sounds like a Power Thinker to me. Then like trainings, this was kind of like by accident, where he's constantly blowing things up.
Like my arm.
Yeah, like his own arm. It's like, I think it makes sense to give him some demolitions training. And so now where he's had explosions around himself a number of times, the incoming explosive damage is reduced. So he knows, it's like, oh, it's gonna blow. He's got like, a little more of a sense. So, and that's all that. I didn't assign any weapons or armor, and that shouldn't really come up through this gameplay, though I'm not ruling it out.
Tony.
Hey, he's the calm one.
I am gentle.
So anyway, so that's the character sheet, how we're designed. Anyway, and Zane's here, and so he walks by again. He looks at the table. Oh, rubbing his eyes. Hey y'all, I'm having a party at my abode later on. You know where to go. He winks. It's clear to you that he wants Glamantha to attend, but he's extending the invitation to all of you. And it's been a rigorous week, so it sounds like a good idea. After Inzane walks away, Glamantha actually turns back and shakes her head a little bit. I actually have plans this evening. So she tells a lot of you, doesn't bother saying anything to Inzane.
What race was Glamantha? I don't remember.
She's human.
Human, okay.
Oh, the first check. That's right. Thank you. So we're gonna make.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, the first check. So I want to do. Let's do. I think actually social agility. Let's roll a social agility check.
All of us?
Yes.
All right. Can I use any skills with that?
It's to know sort of just like social things about Glamantha.
Okay.
So I've got a 7.
I too got a 7.
I should see what I get.
I got a 10.
Got 3.
Okay, so
Socially inept.
He was distracted by a shiny object.
Or Glamantha herself.
Yes.
the
Very lovely.
yeah. Mm-hmm. The difficulty scale would be 5 is considered very easy. So the example would be catching a ball. 8 would be more of a medium, climbing a tall wall, directly hitting a heavily armored opponent, or negotiating with a diplomat. 10 is considered hard. So that would be building an android, performing surgery. And that's when we get to 12 is challenging, interrogating a soldier, and 14 being impossible. And then beyond that, that's really not the realm of your mortals. But lifting an enormous rock would be a 14. So 10 hard. So rolling a 10, you definitely succeed. You know on the inside track that Glamantha has a nickname around school, Mantha Mantis. She's known as a heartbreaker, and has broken many students who have just not bounced back. Where she charms up to them, and once whatever is required of them has come, then she leaves them, and they don't know how to bounce back from that.
I ain't saying that she's a gold digger.
So, well, it's not necessarily money she wants to acquire from people.
It's your dignity.
Just takes your dignity. She loves to, and you also know she's studying psychology, and so she loves to take control of people for periods of time, for various purposes. So George, through hitting the gym constantly, is really on the social scene, and he's seen some real tough as nails people just not come back from whatever Mantha Mantis has taken from them. But so real quick, so to wrap up, you all introduce yourselves. Even though you've known each other for years. You've gone to Larry's, the cultural hub. There you came across Consway, the head of residential life. and you came across who you've learned to be Mantha Mantis, who's just a heartbreaker of the utmost level, and you've been invited to this party by Inzane, the school mascot and true like playboy on campus. And I don't mean that through his ability or anything, just like he literally just plays all day. And so the party is sounding good.